Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox, and I'd like to welcome you to the Daily Compliance News. The Daily Compliance News is an offering of the Compliance Podcast Network. December 17, 2018, the Naughty List Edition. We dedicate most of today's edition to lying, and that's what got Juliet Ming, the chief financial officer of Huawei, into trouble. She apparently lied to HSBC officials on whether or not her wholly owned subsidiary, which Huawei controlled, was doing business with Iran. Unfortunately for her, she put this representations or misrepresentations in a PowerPoint presentation. As most of you know, I say document, but that's not what I'm talking about. Next up, we have the former Olympics chief, Scott Blackmun, who is under investigation, or at least has been referred for investigation, for lying to a Senate panel. This is a relatively new turn that we've seen the U.S. Senate start to ask for referral letters on people who lie to the Senate. It's going to be very difficult for politicians when lying to the Senate now becomes a felony. Nevertheless, he lied to the Senate in testimony about what he knew about Larry Nassar, and that's a matter that is so horrific in the public eye that it could well lead to a prosecution against him. Next up on the naughty list, Michael Flynn. Turns out Michael Flynn seemingly likely lied to regulators, to FBI agents, at least according to most newspapers, interestingly enough, including the National Review. While the investigation may seem unfair, even the National Review said that he appears he lied. He lied to FBI agents. So, once again, if you do not know that when the FBI interviews you, you have to tell the truth, you may learn it here on the Daily Compliance News. If the FBI interviews you, you have to tell the truth. If you don't and you lie, you're going to be subject to prosecution on that point alone. So even if you are a U.S. Army general, you've been a government employee, and you pretend that that's not something you know, it actually is something that you should know. And now we change to a different subject on the naughty list, and that is how the Huawei arrest has reverberated amongst Chinese elites. Apparently, they are feeling the heat about coming to America and are being stopped and asked numerous questions by Customs and Borders inspectors, particularly around their social media output, Facebook pages, WeChat. They are coming to the United States with burner cell phones so that there's nothing on them to give the Customs and Borders officials pause to prevent them from coming to the United States. With this arrest, however, it clearly shows that when jurisdiction exists, U.S. legal authorities will not hesitate to exercise it. So if you want to stay off the naughty list with Customs and Borders, it may be time to holiday somewhere outside the United States this year. As I previously indicated, I've decided to move forward with the Daily Compliance News into 2019 each day. If there's a different format or different information distribution that you would like, please give me a shout and let me know. tfox@tfoxlaw.com. Also, I hope you will check out some of the new offerings on the Compliance Podcast Network. Jay Rosen and myself have started a new podcast series, Popcorn and Compliance, a look at compliance through the lens of the movies, that premiered Saturday, December 8th, and will post bi-monthly on Saturday for your entertainment and enjoyment listening pleasure. Finally, Mary Shirley and Lisa Fine have premiered their new podcast, Great Women on Compliance. I hope you will check that out. It's a great podcast series. We have several other offerings that we are in production and will go live after the first of the year on the Compliance Podcast Network.